Friday Bully Talk. What is going on, family? That's right, man. We're doing this Friday. We're going to be talking dogs, and we're going to make it happen as an open mic, right? We haven't done an open mic in a minute. I'm sorry about the intro. I was trying to get it to get going, but unfortunately, once again, we have StreamYard having some issues with their servers. But nonetheless, we're going to get started, man. I've been getting hit up this past week. A lot of people hitting me up asking about allergies, what's going on, what can I do? My dog is popping up with a particular allergy. What can we do to stop it? And so it's funny, and it coincides with the fact that we decided that we were going to go ahead and let me just turn off the mic. We're going to go ahead and make a series on barf diet. And the reason that I wanted to make the series on barf diet, what's up, Adam Fields, nothing but love, fam. Julio Santiago, good evening, fam, ready to roll. There you go, Julio, nothing but love, man. Bunch of people saying that their dogs are coming down with allergies. And, man, I get it. We talk about allergies all the time, but at the same time, people's routines have had to change now because kids are out of school. Just a bunch of different things going on right now is what I'm trying to get at. And so you might not have had time to catch a video or watch any one of the videos that we've been talking about. However, I will say this. There is a particular video that we just dropped today, and we're going to be talking about it in series, okay? In series. And if you really want the information and you want to get down to the nitty-gritty as to what is your dog truly allergic to and how you will go about combating it, my recommendation is that you definitely tune in to our newest video. Let me bring it up here. If you were to search us on QBN, I'll show it to you here. Let me go ahead and bring it up on screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Definitely you want to see that because it's going to answer so many of your questions, and it's just a watch. Right now, this is us live right here. If you go right underneath, so you type up here QBN Kennel, you're going to see our logo. You scroll down, this is our newest barf diet video right here, guys. I'm telling you right now, that video right there that we're going to be pretty much answering questions tonight on, if you go through the series and you take it in, there is not anyone on this earth that's going to be able to sideswipe you unless your dog has like a rare disease or something like that. Then obviously all bets are off at that point. Carmelo and Chica TV, God bless Bully fam. Nothing but love, man. Appreciate you for joining us. Brayman Bulls, what up, what up? We got Most, man, I always get your name messed up, man. Most hated native. Oh, I'm glad you threw it in there. Most hated native, day 3 on Nuvet, and my dog's skin is finally healing. Listen to this. Do I still have to give him probiotics, or does Nuvet cover that too? Well, Nuvet actually covers the prebiotics, right? I would recommend giving probiotics. That wouldn't be the worst thing. So if you want to go ahead and get yourself either plain yogurt or sour cream, I've done sauerkraut in the past, but you got to buy them little packs of probiotics and kind of throw it on the sauerkraut, give it about 48 hours, and then that's full of probiotics. That's going to help too. Kino G saying, yo, what's up, man? Beloved, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Appling's Heart, God bless. Be safe, everyone. You got it, man. Yeah. Summertime brings a lot of things. First of all, I don't know if you guys are noticing it. I can tell you down here in Southeast Texas, we're noticing that the winter grass is no longer popping up. It's kind of dying off and being reclusive. And the summer grass is the one that's starting to come out. So I've never really had issues with my dogs having allergies with the winter grass. But today, for example, my little girl, Twix, she laid down on grass, and once I brought her in, I could see these little red bumps underneath her. So I already know tomorrow we're going to be bathing all of our dogs with vinegar and water. Right, 50% vinegar, 50% water. Craig Campbell, great to catch live again. A good timing. My boy just started biting. My boy just started biting and licking his paws. Yeah, man, good stuff. That's usually signs of yeast. But, it's kind of crazy because up in Scotland, and I'm not saying Ireland is Scotland. I know you guys have a little bit of a rivalry, but I was in Ireland in midsummer, and I think the warmest it got while I was there, mind you, I was only there for about a week. I think it was 72 degrees. So, but still, hey, if your dog is coming up licking himself, if you feel like a Frito smell on his paws, more likely than not, you're dealing with yeast. That guy, HD, yo, what's up? Been watching for years. Love your content. That guy, what's up, man? Appreciate you. Thank you for watching us. I hope you guys are giving us likes, giving us shares. That's how you support us and you get our content out there. Adam Field says, homemade kefir is the best probiotic for our program. Thank you for sharing that, Adam Fields. If you could do me a favor, Adam, and drop, if you could, at least drop, a first, second, and third step on how to make kefir, kind of steer people in the right direction. Marisol Timmons saying, what's up? Haven't seen you in a minute. We got Dewan Meredith, FNL. We in here. You know it, man. So, yeah. Allergies are coming up. You got to also realize, guys, the ground itself, depending what part of the world you're in, but typically here in North America, certain bacterias are at bay during the wintertime on the ground, right? And then obviously as we start getting into spring and summer, especially in areas where it's likely to rain and be hot, like the swamp I live in Southeast Texas, right? Now, I'm not bitching or complaining. I'm just saying down here, it gets wet and humid, and that humidity allows certain bacteria to thrive. I'm going to let you guys know right now. In fact, let me ask you. This way we can make it interactive. Felipe Hernandez Rondon, what is going on, brother? Number love, man. Adam Field says the Amish taught him. So I'm going to ask you guys, and I want to hear from you. Which paws, right, on the dog's body, right, which two paws are the ones that usually spread yeast or infection, bacterial or fungal infection the most? Is it the two front paws or is it the two back paws? Let me know. We could have a little conversation on that. Is Greek yogurt better than plain yogurt? It's got Greek yogurt has a higher protein concentration. You're not giving yogurt for protein. You're giving yogurt for probiotics. So the less processing you have, so like plain yogurt, the better it's going to be, right? Adam Field says you have to use unpasteurized milk. All right. Appling's Hard. Hey, buddy, what's your thought on Kangles? I'm all about American Bullies. I don't mean to shoot down Kangles. If that's the type of dog you like or whoever likes, great. Me personally, I feel that unfortunately a lot of breeds become popular because they have the strongest bite and they could kill this and do that. And a lot of people find themselves in a world of hurt because they never really had a large dog to begin with, much less one that's not just a shepherd, but like a wolf killer. Like, you know what I'm saying? So to me, man, to each their own. To me personally, since you're asking, I'm about American Bullies, man. Most hated native. I'm getting it. The rear paws, he says. Back paws, says Jeremiah. Felipe Hernandez Rondon says rear. Adam Fields says rear. And Brayman Bully says back paws while they scratch them old ears. That is absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. Those back paws are the ones that are going to spread infection the most. So I'm going to give you a quick little tidbit. There is no guarantee that it's going to stop the dog from spreading infection, but it will definitely improve things. Haven't you noticed that typically their back paws, the nails are a little bit longer than the ones in the front? Well, here's a little tip that I'm dropping on you. If you could grab them back nails, you can lower them as much as you can and make them bolo, meaning don't allow them to be sharp. There alone, there's an improvement. Not saying it's going to stop everything, but there's a slight improvement. In addition to that, grab those back paws if you can. And I started doing this, guys. I started doing this week just to see if it was feasible. This is what I did. I got myself a cup, not this cup. This is my coffee cup, right? So not this cup, but one of them red cups, one of them disposable cups. You grab one of those, you put paper towels in there, right? And you pour straight vinegar, not vinegar and water, straight white vinegar in there. And you grab your dog's back paw and you shove it up in there. You grab the other one and you shove it up in there and let them air dry and see what happens. I'm not saying it's going to fix everything, but what I am saying is it's going to improve things a little bit, right? Everything, when it comes to dogs, it's not one big thing you do, is many little things put together that give you a final result, right? Whether it comes down to genetics, whether it's dealing with infections, flies, whatever, right? Let's see. Thank you. I like Rottweilers. You know so much. I wanted your thoughts on it, buddy. Oh, no worries. None but love, man. I respect everybody's, you know, what your likes and everything is. The thing is, like, what I'm noticing, and again, no hate to the Borbos or the Cane Corso or Presa Canario crowds out there, but I would dare to say, and I've spoken to quite a few breeders of those breeds, typically they don't like selling their top dogs to people that have never owned that breed, because those breeds are just not for everyone, and you better know what you're doing. A Cane Corso is not your everyday Yorkie, if you know what I'm saying, right? So either way, those dogs are becoming very popular in their own right, and they should be. Rottweilers are beautiful dogs. Cane Corsos, I've been seeing more and more Borbos looking amazing. I'm not going to take that away from them, but looking amazing and me knowing what the hell I'm doing with a loaded gun on my hands is two different things, right? So I just like to throw that out there. Kristen Boyette, what do you think about wishy-wash for sanitation? Listen, Christian, I really like the fact you brought this up. I actually bought wishy-wash, right? And I actually did half of my kennel. I cleaned it with wishy-wash, right? And then the other half, you got to remember I'm a nurse, right? So in nursing school, you learn a couple of things. Let me give you an example. If you're in the hospital and blood was to fall on the floor, right? In the hospital, you're not going to grab a gallon of bleach and just pour it over the blood and then mop it up. That's not what, how it's regulated. How it's regulated and taught is you do a 10-to-1 ratio, right? So it is a 1-part bleach, 10-part water ratio that you throw on there and you clean with that. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because we're all aware that in an ICU, you could have people that are septic, people that could have, all sorts of, from viral diseases, COVID, HIV, you name it, papillomavirus, whatever, to, bacterial infections in the blood that makes them septic, so on and so forth, amoeba, you name it. So the way I see it, if a 10-to-1 ratio is good enough for an ICU in a hospital, and I wanted to give it a try versus wishy-wash to see if I saw a difference. And let me tell you what I concentrate on when I do this. And I did this week, so I could actually speak from experience at this point. Had you asked me this last Friday, I would tell you I haven't done it yet. So what I did was I washed every day, 10-to-1 ratio, half of my kennels. The other half, I did the wishy-wash, right? And what I was going to use as a barometer was going to be, I put cement where I used to have pea gravel, and I purposefully cemented all 6 of my kennels. And what I'm going to be using as a barometer is going to be the coloration of the floors, right? After they're dry. Let me tell you this. Neither one, the 10-to-1 ratio did not beat out wishy-wash, I felt, in my opinion. And I felt wishy-wash did not beat out the 10-to-1 ratio. I kind of felt that they were even. And so then the next thing you have to take into consideration, which is obvious, is the cost. I'm able to buy, a gallon of bleach for $4, concentrated bleach, versus the wishy-wash, which was, I believe, I want to say $62.99 plus shipping through Amazon. I don't recall if Amazon charged me for shipping, because Amazon. Wait, I didn't get that through Amazon. My apologies. I got it. I forget if I got it from Chewy or I got it from Amazon, but they probably didn't charge me. But either way, $62.99 versus a $4 bottle that I could pretty much mix with water, and it's pretty much as effective. Those are my thoughts. That's what I think. I think I'll go with the 10-to-1 ratio with bleach. I think it's effective. It's good. If it's good enough for an ICU in a hospital, it's good enough for me, right? Michael Farrell, pretty sure my XL Bully has a meat allergy. I give him meat, and he gets sores on his paws. Michael Farrell, let me just say this. Just because of the location that you're talking about, it's pretty crazy for me. Or not crazy, but rare. Typically, dogs that I've seen that show allergies, they either show red spots underneath or hair falling out in the back and that sort of thing. That's usual. That's the usual tendency. I'm not saying your dog doesn't have allergies. You probably know them better than I do. Not probably, for sure. But the fact that his paws are going sore, it's kind of weird, because you see, dogs don't sweat. They're like pigs. They don't have sweat glands on their body. So they sweat through the sweat glands that they have in the bottom of the paws. So the reason I'm saying that is, could it be that maybe, I don't know, man. I would try and take my dog and get tested, especially on the pH of the dog's blood, because it may just be that when he eats meat, maybe his blood gets a little too acidic. I don't know. I've just never heard of a dog's paws getting sore, man. Again, I'm not a veterinarian. I'm a nurse. But a lot of things in medicine translate over. A lot of them, not all of them exclusively, of course. Most hated native, after I order NuJoint, how do I enter the drawing? Already have an auto ship for Nuvet. Most native, I'm gonna choke you, man. I'm gonna choke you. And here's why. And I'm not going to choke you. It's just a figure of speech, obviously. Here's the thing. If you notice, I have the picture of both Nuvet and NuJoint DS. And I say, get the auto ship together so you can get 13% off and your name put on the drawing. The fact that you did it the way you did it, don't get me wrong. Your name's going to go on the drawing because it gets sent to me, but it isn't until these two actually ship together. So meaning you're probably going to miss out on a month or 2 months worth before they ship together. Once they do, then your name gets put in the drawing. So sorry, but those are the rules. I've spoken on them in the past. Maybe you might have missed it, man. Let me see. Hello, everyone. Stacy Kyle, Miss Kyle. Special salute to you. If you guys don't know, Miss Stacy Kyle, this lovely lady right here, and her husband, They're the ones that are actually taking care of my amazing boy 305. Yeah, 305. Not only that, she has a Fireball son, Two-Face, which is that boy. If he's not Fireball's best son, he's definitely up there. He's an amazing looking boy. So if you guys ever get a chance, Miss Stacy Kyle, if you could drop your kennel name, I'll be more than happy to put it up here. I would love people to go visit your kennel and see what you got. And thank you so much for stopping by. Jeremiah says, I've been spraying Talix back paws vinegar. Started on Monday. Look at that. I started doing it on Monday too with my dogs. He's been on raw and still gets ear infections. Trying to see if this works. Jeremiah, let me ask you this, and you're probably already doing it. You've been listening to us for a while. If you get yourself a paper towel, right, and, you fold it up, make it look nice and neat, right, something like this, right, and you grab yourself a cup, for example, and you pour in that cup white vinegar, so 1 part white vinegar, 1 part water, and 1 part 91% isopropyl alcohol. You then dip this in the cup, and then with it, you go into the dog's ear. That will also help. That will also help, man. We have Miss Alyssa Ambrosino from Iced Out Kennels. Love the name, Iced Out Kennels, man. The first thing that comes to my mind is a dog walking around with a diamond chain or a gold teeth, not gold teeth, diamond teeth or something, man. I just love the name. Iced Out sounds real good. Adam Field says, Kefir grains. They're a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. Scooby that resembles small cauliflower florets. You can obtain them from someone who already makes kefir. Okay. Thanks for the insight on that, man. Jumping in late, Miklo. What's up, man? How's everybody doing? We're doing great. Felipe Hernandez Rondon. What is copper toxicosis accumulating? Does it affect American bullies? Okay, so I'm glad you brought this up, Felipe. Here's the thing. If you were to go back, say, let me exaggerate and say 3 years ago, this copper toxicosis thing would never come up, right? So what's happening is Embark as a company, I don't know if they're upgrading equipment or they're just able to identify things better, or they've reached a data or information threshold where they can now say that these things are red flags, right? But, copper toxicosis, what's the other one that's coming up on all dogs? Oh, the tumor one, what is it, MCT, the mast cell tumor, it's coming up. And what's coming up is a flag. All that means is, hey, your dog has a sequence that whenever you hit that spot, dogs that actually either have MCT or copper toxicosis, they're showing it, right? But here's the thing. Since we have a composite breed, you may need, just an example, you may need a 100 symbol or 100 character polychain in order for that disease process to show. But every time you cross a different breed with a different breed, those polychains that might have been 100 long for, say, pit bulls, just for the sake of saying something, the minute you cross that to a Staffy, it gets cut in half and the flag remains there, but what it's needed, it doesn't have. It only has 50% of it, not the whole thing. Just an example. So copper toxicosis, man, let's bring it up, man, and let's do some research, man. Copper toxicosis in dogs. Let's read about it, man, and let's deep dive. Excellent question. And let me bring it up so that we can all see it and we can all partake together. Here we go. Here we go. All right, copper toxicosis. There it is. Copper toxicosis in dogs. Let me make sure you guys are seeing it. Let me make it a little bigger. That way you guys can read along with me. Copper toxicosis in dogs, also known as copper storage disease or Hepatopathy, meaning liver illness or liver sickness, is a condition where the liver accumulates excessive amounts of copper, leading to liver damage and potentially liver failure. This can be caused by genetic defect in copper metabolism, or in some cases, by excessive dietary copper intake. This is key, and we're about to research what foods are high in copper and if kibble is high in copper. So stand by. Affected dogs may exhibit non-specific symptoms like weight loss, vomiting, diarrhea, and jaundice. Whenever you see a dog lose weight, vomit, and diarrhea, and probably not even want to eat, usually means the body's trying to get rid of something, right? Jaundice is when the dog's gums, if you were to lift the lip, will turn yellow on the dog. In fact, the dog's coloring may change on you as well as more severe signs like abdominal fluid and neurological problems. Wow. All right. So let's see. Let me look up foods. Sorry, hold on a second. What foods are high in copper? All right. Let me bring up the screen and let's read it together. So here you go. Foods rich in copper include organ meats like liver. All right. So let's stop there for a second, guys. Let's stop there for 1 second. If you guys have been following me, you understand that the reason that I feed, let me remove this for a second. The reason that I feed Nuvet and NuJoint DS, right? I feed my dogs raw, but I substitute liver, whether it's chicken liver or beef liver, with Nuvet Plus and NuJoint DS. This is not news to anyone. When I first brought this up, like always, the many cynics out there, oh, you're only saying that because you're trying to sell Nuvet and NuJoint DS. No, I'm not trying to sell it, bro. Don't get me wrong. If I sell it, I'm sponsored by them. So let's not get that twisted. I've been very transparent about that. But my point is, there are growth hormones that are put into beef and chicken livers. This is my angle because I've seen what growth hormones in the long run can do to a human being, right? Those of you that wanted to get all buffed up, in your mid to late 30s, right? You're going to pay for it by the time you get to your late 50s. I'm just being real with you. I strongly suggest you find a way to kind of clean your body out as best as you can. In addition to that, the steroids that they're putting into these animals, along with the growth hormone, right? But now, and you're going to hear me now from this point on bringing it up. Check it out. You have a dog that has, the copper toxicosis come up, and then it's saying here organ meats like liver, right? Now you don't have to worry about shellfish. I don't think there's so many people here feeding your dog shrimp or lobster, such as oysters, crab. You shouldn't be feeding your dogs nuts unless you know what you're doing. I'm just saying that. You shouldn't be feeding your dogs dark chocolate. We know that chocolate is something that is toxic to dogs, right? And then it says whole grains. And then additionally, vegetables like potatoes and spinach are also good sources. So you guys have heard me say many times, one of the ways I lower protein in my dog's diet is by adding rice or adding potatoes or sweet potatoes. So this is another reason why maybe potatoes may not be a good idea, right? Maybe rice or maybe sweet potatoes is going to be a better solution, right? So there you have it, man. Copper toxicosis. Pretty much it's a situation where it accumulates in the liver and it ends up giving the dog liver failure. Live your life dogs, probably chicken. Not sure what he was referring to. Founder, not sure what he's referring to. Ragnar, Nicaragua. Speaking of viruses and bacteria, not sure if wishy-wash will kill something like parvo in your kennels, yards, etc. versus Clorox. So look, I'm glad you brought up parvo. I'm gonna tell you why. You guys, look, let me bring it up, because the last thing I need is for you guys to think, I'm shooting from my hip. So how is parvo transmitted amongst dogs? So I already know what the answer is, but I want you guys to read it along with me. This way we can all, hold hands together and kind of educate each other here, right? So here we go. Let me go ahead and take down the Nuvet there real quick. All right, so check it out. I wrote on there, how's parvo transmitted amongst dogs? Canine parvovirus spreads primarily through contact with infected dogs or their feces. Dogs can also contract the virus from contaminated surfaces like kennels, food, and water bowls, toys, and even the hands and clothing of people who have handled infected dogs. The virus is highly resistant and can survive in the environment for extended periods, making it easy to spread even without direct contact. There's one other way that can be spread that I thought it would be brought up here, and I'm kind of hoping. Okay, I'll go ahead and say it. The other way that it could be spread as well is when, say, an immunocompromised dog. Now, a lot of times when you hear that, you're thinking, okay, a dog whose immune system isn't working. So you're thinking an older dog, and you're right in that sense. But then if you realize that puppies are born with an immature immune system, then you start to understand why so many pups actually die from parvo. Another way that it could be transmitted is by a pup who's immunocompromised sniffing it, right? Sniffing it in, right? It gets the virus particles in there. So that's another reason why, for example, we feed raw garlic to our dogs. And I feed 1 garlic clove per 100 pounds of dog. So if you have a 50-pound dog, it's half a garlic clove. If you have a 25-pound dog, it's a quarter of a garlic clove. If you have a 150-pound dog, it's a garlic clove and a half that I'm going to feed that dog on a daily. Now, why garlic? Again, we're going to go down the rabbit hole. Yeah, we're about to jump in there. Just give me a second. Let me say my piece, and then we'll go in there and disprove the BS that's about to get thrown at all of us. So garlic is an antiviral, right? So viruses don't like garlic whatsoever. Neither does bacteria or fungus. Also parasites, whether internal for, deworming a dog, or external, fleas, ticks, they really don't like garlic, right? Garlic has the ability of pushing all of the dog's or the animal's toxins, for that matter, all the way to the surface, right? Garlic is an herb, and it's considered a hot herb in that sense. So let me go ahead and bring up, better yet, dog garlic study, right? In fact, I have, I might have, here it is. No, I have it. I have this. So check this out. I want to show you guys something, because it's just nonsense to me when I see, whether it's Google or whatever search engine, talking nonsense, right? So check this out. Busting the myth of garlic toxicity for dogs, right? So check it out. It says, learn to understand the surrounding garlic and its supposed toxicity. Discover the many health benefits it offers dogs. Let me find the study here just for the sake of time, okay? Here you go. Here you go. Check this out. When it comes to your dog's health whether preventatively or curatively, you need the most up-to-date and accurate information about safety and benefits. I'll just scroll over. Safety and benefits. Garlic long use as a beneficial herb, right? And listed by the FDA. Listen to this, guys. Listed by the FDA as approved for pet food. So the FDA, right, the Food and Drug Administration, has said you can put garlic in pet food, right? Is still under attack despite a 2004 follow-up study recommending garlic for dogs by the majority of scientists involved in the 2000 study done by and I'll tell you beforehand, Japan. The Japanese study used 5 grams of garlic per kilogram of body weight per day. That means a 75-pound or 34-kilogram golden retriever would have been fed about 170 grams of garlic, or around 34, hold that thought, 34 garlic cloves per day before seeing any adverse effects. That's an excessive amount, equivalent to feeding about 170 grams of garlic, roughly 34 cloves, or 2 to 3 full heads, to a 75-pound golden retriever, or 23 grams of garlic, 6 to 8 cloves, to a 10-pound dog before they experience any adverse effects. Definitely don't feed this amount, right? So we're going to stop it there. I have long known that there was a Japanese study where they overfed garlic to the dogs in order to be able to say garlic is toxic to dogs. Is it really toxic when you got to feed 34 cloves before you're seeing an adverse effect? At that point, I don't know if it's toxic to the dog or you're being manipulated by either big pharma or a big company that doesn't want the world to know that you could actually feed raw garlic to your dogs after processing it correctly, and get many health benefits. You see, if the world found this out, there wouldn't be a need for you to go running to the vet, to stop a flea outbreak, because you would just give a clove of garlic every single day to your dog. And if there ever was a flea that would jump on your dog, it would jump right back out, because the environment is not conducive to the flea, right? Hold on. Let me catch up on these questions. I know I've been going on a little tangent, man. What would cause dry or extra rough pads? Excellent question. I would think calluses. If you have the dog walking, say, on asphalt, it's gonna, or rough surfaces, could be cement or anything that's gonna rough up the paw. I would think, or anything that would cause a callus would be one of the main factors, I would think. Didi Mull says, I got a pocket bully and I want to get him fixed, and he's sweetheart. Would he change and get mean? No, actually, more likely than not, he's probably going to be chiller than what he is now. Only other drawbacks are health drawbacks, like he might get fat on you. Please, if he is under 2 years old, do not neuter him. Wait until at least he's 2. Let him mature with his testosterone, and then, pull the plug if you got to, okay? That's just my recommendation. You do what you like. Queen's New Blood says, yo, a little late. No, you're good, man. No below. League of Bullies, always best hygiene info. You got it. Stacy Kyle, thanks, Raul. We're Trinity Bullies LLC right here. Trinity Bullies LLC. You need to go over there and ask about Two-Face, man. Good looking boy. Also, just so you know, 305 is there. If you want to use him, hey, Trinity, you could either hit up Trinity or you can hit me up and we can make it happen for you. XL Champ Cooper, I did the Embark test. It came back as high risk mast cell tumor. Is there anything I can do to prevent it? Yes. Also, let me rewind here for a second. Did you know that garlic has anti-cancer properties? So you want to know what you can do? Maybe feeding garlic to your dog, raw garlic that you're going to crush or slice up on the appropriate dosage for your dog that you're going to research online, and you're going to let it react to air. So you're going to crush the garlic, let it sit for 15 minutes, then give it to your dog with its food. Just that alone is already helping because it's got anti-cancer properties, right? The other thing that you can do, not just cancer, but not just mast cell tumors, but any type of cancer, is make sure your dogs are getting the appropriate amount of vitamins. Why are you bringing this up, Raul? Are you trying to sell Nuvet on me again? Look, man, I ain't trying to sell nothing. If you don't believe me, then go online, do your research. But if your dog is getting the right amount of vitamin, right, what happens is they're less likely to be immunocompromised. So hear me out. As we age, right, our immune system becomes weaker, even if you're getting all the vitamins there are to be had, right? But if you're only relying solely on kibble to give your dogs vitamins, you're doing a lot more harm to your dog than you could ever think of. Because what happens is these vitamins go through a processing because kibble has to be processed. You see, they got to take all the water out of it because it's got to be able to stand on the shelf for a long period of time. The process of doing that is they're going to cook the kibble at over 300 degrees and they're going to dry it out. Well, that's good for shelf life. That's bad for vitamins like vitamin C, which is the main vitamin pretty much all animals use. We use all the different vitamins, but vitamin C, we use it for so many things. Rebuild joints, ligaments, for the heart, for the skin, for so many things. And when you start relying on kibble, yeah, the bag says, for example, there's 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C in here for every cup's worth. Just an example. Well, that's true. Before you cooked it, that's what you put into it. Problem you have is after you cooked it, of that 1,000 milligrams that you put in there, there's only 150 that's even usable. And then your dog has to start borrowing from Peter to pay Paul because it's not getting what it really needs, right? And that's the reason I recommend Nuvet NuJoint DS, right? Long term. Now, I've been asked, do you give this to your pregnant bitches? Look, we give it to our pregnant bitches. We give it to them before they get pregnant. We give it while they're pregnant. So the puppies are getting Nuvet and NuJoint DS when they're in vitro. When they come out, they're getting it through mom's milk. When we take them off mom on day 23, guess what? We're going to make MUSH and we're going to add Nuvet NuJoint DS in there. If we're doing it this way, if you've never watched any one of our videos or our shorts or anything like that, I suggest you do. You're not going to see our dogs limping. You're not going to see our dogs walking around with patches everywhere, and mainly because they're getting what they need, right? They're getting what they need. Also, guys, I am letting you know, we dropped a barf diet video today. If you don't know what a barf diet is a biological appropriate raw food diet, right? That's what that means. And if you have a dog that has allergies or is getting older or is showing, whatever, I was just asked here moments ago, what can I do? Because the dog came back with a flag for MCT, which, by the way, all American bullies are coming back with that. But MCT stands for mast cell tumor. So if you were to ask me, which you did, what else could I do, Raul, to protect my dog from cancers or anything like that? My recommendation is right here. Barf diet, raw diet. Raw diet in the long run. By the way, that picture right there, I literally took it yesterday. That's my boy Blueberry. He's just a little over 10 months old. Raw diet and not processed food diet like kibble is going to give your dogs the best fighting chance. Okay, best fighting chance. I'm not sponsored by any meat company, so I'm not trying to sell you meat or anything like that. You've heard me now for years say that raw is the best that you could do for your pet, period, hands down, right? I know there's many vets out there that are going to say no, 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 and they're going to point at that hill-size diet they got on their shelf. The minute you see a situation like that, don't even worry about asking me what I think. I'm going to tell you right now. I think you need to go. I think you need to go find yourself a country vet, because if there's a vet pointing you in the direction of kibble versus raw, there's something totally wrong. Something totally wrong. Brayman Bull says, question, in your opinion, does a breeder have to be involved in the bully community to have a successful program? No. No. In fact, I will say this. I have met some breeders that want nothing to do with the bully community whatsoever. Will it impact the price of your pups? It can. You may not want to interact with the bully community, and I could understand that there's reasons why. Unfortunately, we live in a world where everybody wants to copy what you have, or they want to somehow stick their hands in the success you have and bring it over to them and that sort of thing. And not everybody is a people person. I come out here, I've been talking out here for 5 years. I could have a conversation with you. Right now I'm looking at a camera, but I know that there's somebody behind the camera, so I'm talking directly to you. Some people just don't feel comfortable, with that type of relationship, and therefore, they kind of stay away. Others are very popular because, they'll pay a beautiful model to stand next to their dog so they could take pictures and they could get all these views. So I'm gonna answer your question, but I'm gonna twist it around so we can see it in different angles. Popularity does not a breeder make. Whether you have it or you don't, it doesn't make you a breeder. All it means is you were able to manage your program and put it in more eyeballs or not, right? That's what that means. That's got nothing to do whether the guy knows what he's doing when it comes to breeding or not. I can tell you there's very popular breeders out here that I just, I have a conversation with them and they kind of walk away from me within 2 minutes because they just don't know what the hell they're doing. They got really lucky at getting a dog, or they're really good at hyping up, right? Because we also got those. We got those that could have a trashy dog, but they know how to hype it up. Does that make them a better breeder? No, it's two different things, man. So just know that. It's almost like because you're a good sprinter, you're a good swimmer. Not necessarily. You might have short arms. You might suck at swimming. I don't know. I'm just saying. Most hated native. Two of my female pups just finished their first heat. Is swollen nipples normal? I know they're not pregnant. Yes. Swollen cooter and swollen nipples. Absolutely. That's completely normal. Malachi, hey Raul, seeking tips on how to get my boy to drink more water out of the bowl. I supplement with watermelon fruits, but don't want to rely on it. He doesn't mind the hose, but he cares less about water. Well, if I had a dog like this, Malachi, and I live here in Southeast Texas. Today we hit 97 degrees, which is kind of prepping us for another, we go up another 13 degrees to about 110 once summer gets here. If I had a dog that didn't want to drink water over here where I'm at, that would really concern me. So I would definitely make sure that dog is eating raw. Why? Because when you feed a dog raw, 70% of that food content is water. That's why you got to feed so much of it. People ask me all the time, oh, how much raw do I feed? Which, sometimes, man, it just makes me wonder, man. It really does. This week I was asked, how much raw food do I feed my dog? First, I get a text saying, quick question. Okay, quick question. First of all, a quick question it requires from me a yes or no answer and no further explanation, right? So, quick question. How much percent of raw do I feed my dog on a daily, and how many times do I feed him daily, and why? Bro, that's not a quick question. And that's a question that requires for me, if I'm driving, to either pull over and text you. If I'm having a conversation with my wife or having dinner or lunch, to have to stop so I can be able to answer you. Or, I was making a video this whole week. I was dealing with my dogs. I would have to stop my priority and answer you. So you guys are going to notice that if you start asking me quick questions, my first question is, are you a member of this channel? If I ask you that, don't get offended. I'm not aiming it at you. I'm aiming it at those many people up here, right? Right now we have 73 viewers and we have a total of 9 likes, right? I'm aiming it at them up here that want a quick question and a quick answer, but they don't want to give you nothing because your time and your value is nothing to them, right? So my response is, are you a channel member? If you are, send me a screenshot of your membership. If you can't do that, I'm just not going to answer your questions. Sorry, folks, I don't have time. This is what I do this live on Friday for and what we do Mondays for. If you don't have the decency or the respect for my time, then, what can you expect of me, of yours? You bought a dog from a breeder that doesn't answer your questions. I'm supposed to stop my world and answer you on a free? No, that's not happening, man. Just keeping it real with you. Jose Hernandez, salute from Arizona. Nothing but love, man. Appreciate you. We have Appling's Heart. How do you feel about giving your dogs a whole pig with the guts and all that stuff in it? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. You're begging for issues. Do you know how much parasites pigs have? Don't get me wrong. I've fed wild feral boars to my dogs before, but not the insides. That's where all the parasites are in. Nah, I wouldn't do that. You're asking me a question. I'm giving you my answer. I wouldn't do that. Even if I'm deworming the whole 9 yards, I just wouldn't do that. You're asking for trouble. Pigs are, they're pigs for a reason. Christina, I hope I say this correctly. Christian Wyrahetta. Didi Mole, he won't get mean, but he will lose his physique over time. Correct. That is absolutely right. And he's referring to the lady that was asking about if she neuters her dog. You got to realize testosterone is what's going to keep muscle and bulk on your dog. Take that away, you may start losing some of that. It might be replaced with fat. Queen's New Blood says, after that, at what age do you give your puppies garlic, and what video would I find that on as well? I'm in the process right now of setting up a nutrition playlist. So I want to say, go to my channel and go to the nutrition playlist. And you're going to see it's going to say nutrition, and then it's going to say, I believe, nutrition and fixing flaws. Click on that one. If that video is not on there, then you need to find puppies, raw food for puppies. So you can go to my homepage, go to search, and type in, raw food or barf diet for puppies. We have a video on that. As far as garlic, my pups get hit with garlic the first day they go on MUSH. Period. That's what's going to happen. And the way we do it is, I'll weigh all the puppies, and I'm just going to throw a number out there. Let's say they all together weigh, I don't know, 30 pounds, right? So what I'll do is I will get a third of a garlic clove. I'll add water to a blender, throw the third, spin it till it's basically all liquidy and water, and then I'm going to pour that into the MUSH and I'm going to mix it. And that's how I make sure that nobody gets that 1/3 of garlic and the others don't, right? Jeremiah, buying a bag of garlic already peeled. Gems. See, somebody's watching the videos. Yeah, in fact, you know what I do, Jeremiah? I even take it a step further. A lot of times that bag, I'll throw it in the freezer. I actually, right now, I have 2 of those bags in the freezer, and I'm using that one in the fridge, from the fridge. The ones in the freezer, You know, those are the ones that I feed my large dogs. The one in the fridge, since I got to chop them, is the one I feed my smaller dogs, the ones that, you know, don't eat the full garlic clove. Marisol Timmons, what age can you start a pup on garlic? Marisol, I can't answer that question per se, but I can tell you we start our puppies on day 23. Okay, you got to realize when you take the puppy away from mom, as we do on day 23, their immune system is still immature, right? They're running on mom's colostrum, right? So when the female dog gives birth, right, the first 24 to 48 hours, I know it looks like milk. You could press on the nipple and you'll see white liquid there, and you could swear up and down it's milk, but it's really not milk, it's colostrum. And it's very important that the puppies, every single puppy, latches on those first 24 to 48 hours, because that colostrum is what's going to serve as a surrogate immune system, if you will, from mom for the pups until they get to day 28. And that's when their immune system kicks in. And even when it does, it's still immature. So by giving them garlic on day 23 and getting them going with the garlic, it's antibacterial, it's antifungal, it's antiviral, it's anti-parasitic. I mean, it's helping the dog, helping the pup in many ways. So that's my answer. Carmelo and Chica TV, great info, Raul. You're the man. Number love. Carmelo and Chica, number love, man. Appreciate you. VBX Bullies, just got home from work. Glad I made it to the live. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Seriously, man. Today, Friday, number love, man. Debbie Utes says, hit the like button. There you go. Hit the like button. I'm seeing 70 people up in here, 9 likes. And then after the live, I'm going to have about 25 text messages. Oh, quick question. And the minute I say, are you a member of my channel? The response is, you're going to charge me $5 to ask you a question? Yeah, you damn skippy, because if my members are paying, you got to pay too. Like, what makes you any better than my members, right? Straight up. Just keeping it real with you. Stacy Kyle says, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. There you go, Stacy. Thank you. Most hated native. I waited 2 years and tried everything with little to no results. Day 3 on Nuvet, and there is a noticeable difference. Nuvet works. I'm sorry I didn't get it sooner. Listen, let me say something. Most hated native, right? Let me tell you something. Look, I've been doing this for 5 years, or 6 years actually, where I come on here and you know, we're going live and we're talking and whatnot. I've only had 2 sponsors since we've been here. Sponsor number 1 was Nuvet NuJoint DS. The reason I decided to allow Nuvet NuJoint DS to sponsor me was because I told them, I said, you're going to have to give me 2 months worth of this stuff. I need to start giving it to my dogs, and I will document and I will know what's happening. You know, and if I believe in the product, then we can move forward. If I don't, sorry, bud, you lost a hefty amount of product in trying to get me to, you know, allow myself to be sponsored. The other sponsor I had, unfortunately, I had to move away from them. Those of you that have been following me for a long time, they promised one thing, and then out of nowhere, there were certain ingredients missing. I wasn't informed. Neither were my people who were buying this product. And so to me, it was just an ethical situation. Since I've only been sponsored by Nuvet, I don't foresee myself being sponsored by anyone else. Not because I haven't been offered, but because I really, really need to believe in your product. Here's the thing about Nuvet. It's never been recalled. Look it up, man. Don't take my word for it. It has never been recalled. They've been around for about 25 years. They've never been recalled. Vitamins are cold pressed. They're not cooked. That's what makes the vitamins viable. Also, Nuvet is made at human food grade level, which is the highest food grade level known to man. right? So your dogs are not going to be eating feed grade level. One of the differences between feed grade and food grade is, I'll give you an example. There's a sick cow, right? And it gets sold for cheap, so it can be slaughtered for feed grade because it can be sold as feed grade. That sick cow cannot be killed and sold at human food grade. So the difference is pretty big. It's pretty big, guys. Louis DeMille, hey fam, what's up, Lou? Number love, man. Shamrock Club. Good evening, everyone. What's going on, Shamrock Club? Malachi, most allergies come from fake chicken. He's so right. He had hives from previous chicken treats food. I switched to raw chicken quarters for the barf last week, and he had no allergic reactions. Tighter, smaller poop. Look, man, I've been talking here for 5 years. I've been saying it for the last 5 years. In fact, that barf diet video that we just dropped today, if you haven't watched it, I suggest you take a good look at it. I'm going to show you guys how you can actually, through the process of elimination, realize whether your dog is truly allergic to chicken or if it's only allergic to the way they process chicken for kibble, right? Which is a whole different ball game, right? So if you haven't watched that video, I suggest you check it out. It's going to give you a lot of answers, and it's also going to prepare you for a series of videos that we're going to be making on this barf diet. I'm going to show you how to make your dogs gain, how to make them lose, how to add muscle, how to help out with joints, so on and so forth. Freddie Strivia says, better late than never. What's up, Bully fam? Thank you for coming, ma'am. Sally Adams, hey, y'all. I've been watching and listening for 35 minutes. Then I realized I hadn't checked in. Good muggy Friday evening from Alabama. Woo-wee. Man, it's been muggy here too. Appling's Heart, we're learning. Laugh out loud. Hi, Miss Sally. All right. Love it when you guys start knowing each other. Bernard White, I can appreciate the truth you speak, my brother. Not below, man. And again, I only speak my truth from my experience. That's all I can do. Unfortunately, sometimes you get people that come out here and they try to fake the funk. Freddie Strabia, muggy in Alabama's truth, Miss Sally. Humidity is off the charts. Not just Alabama, out here in Texas. Trust me on this. We got Nadies XLs. Good evening, Bully fam. I've been using Nuvet for some years now. However, I think that my pups are developing an allergy to them. It's possible. But I'm going to try the process of elimination with food, etc. Nadies, please, by all means, check out this barf diet video we just dropped. I'm not saying that dogs cannot be allergic to Nuvet. They very well can be. And it's not just the chicken and the Nuvet. There's a host of different products that they have inside of Nuvet. They're all natural, but your dog may just be allergic. It just is what it is. But in this particular video, I take you step by step on figuring out if your dog is really, really allergic to chicken or not. And you could use the same process of elimination with Nuvet or with anything else. Okay, it's really that simple. Let me see. Man, Sally says, it's bad when your dog won't go outside. Oh yeah, I hear you. Or they don't want to play. Pablo, hey Raul, my dog recently started getting some hot spots. Any advice? Pablo, watch our videos. The advice is there for you, man. If you don't have the time to watch them, I can't answer. BBX, traits we should be looking for when it comes to our bully breed. Traits we should be looking for. Yeah. When it comes to our bully breed. So I'm thinking you're talking about American Bully XL or American Bullies in general. My bad. Okay, so we have a companion breed, right? So that would be, in my opinion, the number one thing I'm looking for. I don't want to see a dog that's aggressive. I don't want to see a dog that is a security type of dog. I want to see a dog that is, as long as you socialize them, of course, that they're well in crowds, they're well around children, they behave well, going to Home Depot and whatnot. For me, temperament would be the number one trait. BBX, and how do you deal with the bulls with seasonal allergies? Okay. Right now I'm having that with my boy Congo. It happens every year. He's the only Merle I have in my camp. And let me bring up a picture of this beautiful boy, because he is, let me tell you, he is prettier on the inside than he is on the outside. But don't get it twisted. At least to me, he's just a good looking, all the way around. He's a good looking boy. But my boy Congo, he is going through allergies right now. And so what's his daddy doing? That's me over here, right? So I'm bathing him with vinegar and water every 3 days. I'm adding apple cider vinegar to his food, a quarter to half a top's worth. I am adding half a top's worth into his water. Feeding him raw. That's all. That's the best I can do right now. And what I have noticed is everything is kind of in check. Like, it won't fully go away, but it's gone away about 80 to 85%. And it doesn't, because the thing about what I've noticed with dogs, like my boy Congo, if I don't bathe them every 3 days, we'll go into a full-blown tailspin. And so in order to prevent it, that's what I'm doing, man. And it's working out for me. Yep, my motto, hit that like button. There you go. Hey, look at that. We got 2 more likes. All right, man. Appreciate it. SoCal Warriors, I need your opinion on Red Lion. Okay. So SoCal, are you a member of this channel? I've never seen you before. There's a membership tab down in the description below. You can definitely hit on that, and we can definitely have a conversation. I will answer all member questions. If you're a non-member, I can pick and choose. Malachi says, culturally, my food depends on a lot of garlic cloves. So we got the package peeled and cloves on deck at all times. Oh, there you go, Malachi. There you go. Bobby Molly says, bullies taste great on the barbecue. Wow. Let me take care of you here, my friend, real quick. Make sure. Yeah, there we go. Let me just make sure you never come on here again. There you go. Now you're banned. Now your idiot comments stay with you. All right, just like that. Marisol Timmons says, my pups are bottle fed. They're 20 days. Mom had emergency C-section and spayed due to stuck puppy. I am so sorry to hear that. But you should have known typically on day 57, you should have gotten an x-ray done to know that the puppies can make it through the canal. Jeremiah, you'll be a QBNK member for life. Buy a QBNK production. Number love, bro. You know it. You know it, Jeremiah. Pays to play, says Miklo. That's it. I'm not going to sit here and give you priority. I need your opinion on. I'm not stopping when I'm having a conversation with my members, bro. Straight up. Unless you're making some amazing questions that I definitely want to answer. Unless you become a member, we're not going down that route. Twin Oak Bullies, nothing's for free anywhere. Absolutely. And in fact, here's the deal. Here's the deal, guys. Not only is nothing for free, I don't want it for free. If I was out there, I wouldn't want it for free. I don't want you to then point the finger. Oh, I gave you that. No, I don't want that. Bro, how much is it? It's $5 membership for a month? Okay. If you have, if you have an objection to that, great, man. That's fine. That's your choice. It's also my choice to answer your question or not answer it, right? So it goes both ways. That's why I like that. It goes both ways. I might answer your question one day. I might not answer it the next. You're not a member. You can't require me to do anything. Now, my members, I promised them I'm going to answer all of their questions before we get off of the live. That's how this works, right? Just keeping it real. Yami's Playhouse, I'm glad I had my timer set for this live. I appreciate the info. Thanks, bro. There you go, little Yanni, number love. Prater King Bullies, can we get one of the Inukshuk Marine formulas in the next Kibble Challenge? We'll see, man. Here's the thing, man. I'm not let's see. Let's see. I know a lot of you have been asking me on a Nook Shook. I don't like following trends. I'm the opposite. But you know what the hell, man? Maybe once in a while wouldn't hurt, right? Yanni's Playhouse, Nuvet is the best. I couldn't agree with you anymore. In fact, let me go ahead and bring up my where are you? Where are you? Here it is. Nuvet NuJoint DS, 13% off with auto ship. Not only that, your name gets put in every single month into the raffle. That you have this. We're going to be doing the raffle on the 24th of December. Winner, I'm going to give you Nuvet NuJoint DS for as many dogs as you got for an entire year. I'm going to cover you, right? That's how we're going to roll with it. The life of Miklo, QBN member, Nuvet auto ship member, number love. You think if Miklo sends me a text, I'm not going to answer? I could care less if it's 1 a.m. He's about to get an answer. You see what I'm saying? But you out here, oh, stop your world for me. I have this pressing free question I need you to answer. Yeah, that's not going to fly, bro. I'm just keeping it real. Prater Bullies, Raul's a blessing. $5 too cheap for the accessibility and knowledge. Hey, number love, man. Zulema Santiago, hello, just came in. I'll rewatch. Thank you, Zulema. Number love. Also, para toda mi gente latina que nos está viendo, acuérdese que puede darle a este video en lo que son las capciones y traducirlas de inglés a español y pueden escuchar el en vivo completo en tu lenguaje. Just letting them know you can listen to this live in your own language. And Sarata says dogs could be allergic to the steroids or whatever they feed in chicken. This is true. I have noticed that my blue dogs who have a copy of chocolate have no chicken allergies, but my blue dogs that are blue times blue with no chocolate have some. I think the whole chocolate part, Miss Inserata, is complete luck, in my opinion. I don't know if that is the blue or if chocolate brindle sire just had no allergies and broke it up. Yeah. That's $1 million question. I know right now we can't get to the bottom of it, but I am pretty sure in the coming years with AI, we're going to be able to get there. Nadie says already have them on barf diet, had them on it for a few years now. Yeah. Once you go barf and you make it work for you, it's just like automatic. Like you then start shaking your head and you're like, how are people only feeding kibble? Then you got to kind of put yourself in their shoes. And, you know, they got 3 kids. They have a spouse and, you know, they get home after traffic. It's 7 o'clock at night. And then you kind of understand. But unfortunately in America, the culture is kibble driven. It's, you know, you talk to your grandfather and your father, and they're all going to tell you dog food is kibble. You know, that's their reference. Bambo Jenkins, what's good, Raul? Just the word. Lakeside Bully Sharks tapping in. What's up, man? Number love, man. VBX, I did my research on white vinegar compared to apple, but I would love to know what's your thoughts on the acid levels. Man, listen. White vinegar in water so it doesn't ferment. You're giving half a top's worth in the food. And you're bathing the dog with 1 part water, 1 part vinegar. Honestly, I mean, unless you want to talk about like tooth enamel or anything like that, what does it matter? You're watering down the acidity in the vinegar with large amounts of water when they're going to drink, obviously. You're watering it down with the food, right? The main purpose that you're giving vinegar in the food, apple cider in my case, is because you want the dog to be able to break down carbohydrates more effective, right? And then lastly, when you bathe them with I bathe them with either apple cider or white vinegar, 1 part, and then the other part water. And that's more than enough to be able to combat any type of fungal and also reset the pH in the dog's body. As to which one's more acidic or not, I don't know. Educate me on that one. And the reason I say that is because For example, I bathe my dogs with the white vinegar that I bathe them with is concentrated white vinegar, right? So is that standard white vinegar? No, it's more concentrated. So it just wouldn't even be fair for me to jump into that. So educate me. Tell me which one's more acidic and which one would you choose in what scenario? Again, in my opinion, since they're getting so watered down, really doesn't matter. That's just my opinion. Adam Rochester, he is beautiful. Question, bro. Do you do natural births over C-sections or do you prefer C-section? Thanks, bro. Okay, Adam. Thank you. Yeah, Bobby Mulhy, he was banned. Okay, thank you for being so respectful. Listen, when I first started breeding, I want to do natural, blah, 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 blah. Here's the truth, man. Right now, there's a bit of like a metamorphosis that's been going on with our breed. The standards, the standard class in our breed, they're being bumped back into the classic, and then the extreme is the one that's taking over the standard class. Well, when you look at extremes, you're not only looking at bigger, broader shoulders and chest, but you're also looking at bigger heads, right? So I'm saying all that to say I started out wanting to do natural births, but then I started seeing I was losing 1 or 2 pups per birth. Listen, take away the financials out of it. There's no harder thing for you to do, at least for me, than to bury a puppy. Any puppy I lost on a live birth is buried here in my yard. I'm not throwing you in the trash. I'm not doing any of that. And for me, it is just one of the hardest things to do is this beautiful little thing that's supposed to be full of life. Seeing that it doesn't have any, it just kind of affects me. I don't like seeing that, even though I've been around death for quite a while as a nurse. But nonetheless, I think to answer your question, I have evolved from doing everything natural to doing a C-section. That's just me, right? That's just me. VBX says, you need to leave. Yeah, he's talking about that idiot who took out. Elisa Phillips, how to get rid of Easty Westy. Elisa, I don't know if this is the first time you're watching us or not. Sweetheart, we have plenty of videos. Here, let me bring this up so maybe I could walk you and many others through. If you go to QBN Kennel on your Google and you see our logo, do me a favor, go ahead and click on that, right? And you're going to be seeing this, right, on our page, whether on your phone or on your laptop. Either way, if you're on the laptop, you're going to have to slide this so you can get to this little magnifying glass. If you're on a laptop, obviously, you're going to see it there. I want you to go ahead and click on that and click and type in Easty Westy, for example. Or you could type in allergies or barf diet or raw diet or many other things. But for now, let me answer your question. If you were to click on Easty Westy, listen, look at all the information you get. You get shorts of me telling you how to fix it. Obviously, I'm showing Nuvet NuJoint DS. In addition, you got a full-blown video that's breaking it all down for you right there, right? And we're talking about it today. So we said Easty Westy. So guess what? This live is going to pop up. Also, if you have puppies, also we have an Easty Westy video I just made recently, right? I even got buildings and hay and all sorts of stuff in there to explain to you. We have fixing pasterns, right? Or Easty Westy. Like, you have so many resources that I am able to offer you through YouTube that I've made over the years. Look at all the information I have talking about Easty Westy some way, somehow. It's all there. Look, it's really mind-boggling. So do me a favor. If you have any question, whether it's Easty Westy, whether it's allergy, look, you type in allergy, you hit enter, and look, I'll show you how to detox your dog, right, from yeast right here, which is one of the main allergies that affects dogs. Look, Look at all the information. We recently went live when we spoke nothing but dog allergies. Look, you got shorts letting you know what the main dog allergies are. Look, I made a video talking about dog allergies. So look, it talks to you about how to bathe a dog, to a dog food experiment I did that caused allergies. I mean, you have a plethora. You have a full-blown library of videos that all you got to do is go to our homepage, type search. While you're at it, subscribe, hit that like button, give me a comment, give me a share the love. Don't do like the majority of these 63 people we got here. We only got 12 likes. Don't do that. And we're going to be just fine. VBX, I'll be joining the community soon, Raul. I'll be a member. That chart and the video you have posted on there, I hear, is really helpful. Absolutely, man. I'm going to help out the community regardless, right? Regardless. But the great majority of these people not hitting likes, sooner or later, they're going to hit a snag. And I got a quick question. They're going to come at me. Oh, I watch your videos for years. You're such a smart guy. I got a quick question. And then when I say, are you a member? If you are, send me a screenshot. Otherwise, we got nothing to talk about. Then I'm the bad guy. Go figure. We only charge $5 for membership a month. And we do lives on Mondays and Fridays where we answer all these questions. But people want you to stop their life and do it for free. And that's where we're going to hit a snag. Dat Bowl says, how do you become a member? Well, good question. What you do is you go to our homepage, right? And let me take off the Nuvet logo. And when you get to our homepage, if you're on a phone, you may have to slide this little this area right here. You might have to slide it to the left. But there's a membership button there. If you do it from a laptop, it's even easier. There it is, membership. And then depending what level of membership you need, that's what you click on. And, you know, you could either do just live questions, which means live questions means you don't call me at 1 a.m. expecting me to answer your question. It means that you compromise yourself on coming on Mondays and Fridays, and I'm going to answer every single one of the questions that you've got. Okay, that's how we roll with it. But excellent. Thank you so much for asking that question. We have Jonathan Rodriguez. QBN was recommended by my brother. Been hooked on ever since. Great knowledge. Thank you, Jonathan. Number love, man. My send your brother my best wishes to him. Damon Owens, what is the best food to feed XLs? Yeah, Damon, you're going to have to watch some videos, my friend. VBX says that bowl in the left corner to the bottom, there's a symbol that looks like money. Click that and become a member. There you go. Look at that. Jeremiah, patiently waiting for a QBNK 2025 litter. Jeremiah, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy this year. That's all I'm going to say. We got Felipe Hernandez Rondon. He just gifted 5 memberships. Man, Felipe, really, you didn't have to do that, man. I really appreciate you, bro.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón. 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 Pues claro que sí.
Good luck. We do this every Monday, every Friday at 8 p. CST, and that means Central Standard Time. And we're going to answer all member questions, right? We got D. Taylor gifted 1 QBNK membership, man. Man, I love my members. Thank you so much, D. Taylor. You already know, and I said it. We do this every Monday and Friday, 8 p. CST. We got Miss Sally Adams. Man, you guys, man, let me just say this, man. We got members gifting you memberships.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
That's 1.
Pues claro que
2,
sí, cabrón. Pues claro
3,
que sí, cabrón. Pues claro que sí, cabrón. Pues claro que sí, cabrón. Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
Do you think if Sally Adams calls me at 3 a.m., you know, whether it's Sally Adams or, you know, anybody that's gifted me memberships like this, do you think I'm not going to answer the phone? Come on, man. You got another thing coming. We're going to answer the phone. I'll tell you that right now. It's going to happen. Felipe Rondon, you already know, bro. You call me at 2 a.m. No issues. D. Taylor, you already know, D. Taylor. You've been a member for such a long time. It's not even funny. We got Wesley Juries all the way from South Africa. Bought an American Bully pup. He's 8 weeks old. Thanks to you and the advice you give. Wesley Juries, number love, South Africa has become officially the number 3 country that is following my channel. Number 1 country is the U.S., number 2 is UK. Number 3 used to be Australia, and they just got beat out by South Africa. Good stuff, man. Bamba Jenkins, hey, Raul, tell them do like I do. Go watch them 100 videos. You get every question answered at the price of investment time. Bamba Jenkins, this is why I respect you, bro. You're noticing this young man is not a member. But you know what I like about this young man? He has come on here. He doesn't agree with everything I've got to say. In fact, he's been able to challenge me on many times. Always done it in a respectful manner. And by the way he's asking things, you could tell he's been watching my videos. I'm going to go above and beyond. It's just how I roll, man. Thanks for the opinion, Ralph. You got it, BBX. Malachi. Y'all go check out the birth video with Raul and his wife. That was a beautiful thing to watch for me as a new dog breeder. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Sulema, speaking about Nuvet Plus and NuJoint DS, my dogs love it. After she eats, always comes to the bottles. She knows where it is and sits to receive her dose. I tasted and understood why she loves it. There you go. I'm telling you guys, Nuvet NuJoint DS, it's been a blessing in my yard. I'm glad I've been able to share that blessing with many of you. Glad to see it's working out for so many people. Not surprised, but glad to see that it's working out. Amen, bro. Burning my 6 was the hardest thing ever. Messed me up bad. Adam Rochester, now you understand where I'm coming from. It's almost like, look, I don't want to offend anyone in saying it's like burying your child, but there's a deeper connection. There's not a deeper connection than burying your own child, but there's a connection like, I don't know, man. The only thing that could come to my mind is like burying a child. I just don't know how to say it. It's so heartbreaking. And I think Adam and I are pretty much eye to eye with that, man. You got it, man. Number love. Sulema says, and I loves it because she's very healthy, strong, active, gets better appetite, a lot more benefits. Also, dogs consume 8% more of the food that they're already eating, so you don't even have to spend more money on food, even if it is kibble. At least I've seen that in my yard, guys. Malachi, the gifts just keep coming. They really do, man. They really do. Talk about humbling. When I see you guys gifting 5 memberships, you truly humble me. You truly humble me. You're gifting something that you believe in, which is me and my brand, to others. It just means the world to us. So thank you. Thank you. The Life of Miklo. Also, there are members only videos to reply as well. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Not only that, I prioritize my members on replies and just about everything else. James Hatfield. Well, here you go. Okay. Thank you. I don't know. Malachi, I think your YouTube likes a bit delayed, Raul. We up to 65. Look at that. I'm seeing 13. Honestly, that's what I see. So maybe I'm seeing 13 on the Facebook side and not the YouTube side. I don't know. Zulema says, Jeremiah, I'm patiently waiting for those litters too. Well, here, since we're all waiting on the litters, I know it's not a surprise to anyone out here what I'm about to say. You guys know how I feel about this boy Hector. He's not in my yard, but he might as well be. I got 10 credits on him, right? Like, what lunatic would get 10 credits on a dog? Yeah, I'm that type of sick breeder, I guess. Either way, this is what this boy looks like. I feel he's the walking standard. I've already bred him to 2 of my females. I bred him to this one female, Athena. And, you know, we got this one female. Her name is Happy, by the way, that we feel she's gonna be something pretty special, man. She really is. So we're excited because we got 2 females coming up that should be coming in heat here in the summer, and that's none other than my girl Ollie. We've been waiting patiently for her. I love her tight little feet. I love her symmetry. Can she use maybe a shorter muzzle? Absolutely. And that's the reason we're bringing Hector into her. We not only want a shorter muzzle, we would like a wider muzzle. Not that hers isn't, you know, not that she doesn't, that her muzzle is narrow, because it isn't. But I want it shorter. That I do. And definitely want to make sure we pair her with a male that has a wider muzzle. In addition, we have this beautiful girl. Her name is Girl. This is a Brim daughter. And she is just a chunky little girl with a short back, good rear angulation, good tight feet, good shoulders, good chest. And we're just very excited. And then hopefully by the end of the year, Champion Sunshine over here, by the way, one of the youngest ABKC champions out there at 6 months and 17 days, we're definitely going to be taking our boy on. Well, I want to say my boy, but he's not my boy. He's Peter Stoiber's boy at BMBZ's. Hector El Ozo. This boy right here will be going into her. So that's the direction we're going. So for those of you that are excited to see what we're going to be doing, that's what we're going to be doing. My feed is showing 65. That's great. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised, actually. Champ Cooper, they have a setting called members only for the comments section. Yeah, they do, Max Cooper. The reason I don't do that, I've done that in the past, but here's the thing. When I do that, not only do the comments drop, and that's important because YouTube looks at the amount of comments before it pushes out the content. But for some reason, it's almost like my members get shy or something and they stop commenting altogether. So, I remember doing a 2-hour live and all we had was like 80 comments. That was it for 2 hours. Think about that for a minute. That's 120 minutes for 80 comments. That means there was 40 minutes of dead air. So that's the reason we open it up. And as long as the non-member is asking a good question, one that I feel comfortable answering, or not comfortable answering, but that is conducive for all of us learning. And in addition, they're respectful, I will answer them. James Hatfield says, what are your thoughts on colors that are not the breed standard? Look, man, this week somebody dropped a comment saying American Bullies are a joke because everybody wants to breed their own vision with it. And the minute you do that, you're creating mutts. I'm sure that person was trying to trigger a response from me. I couldn't respond because I'm not saying everybody's doing it, but there's a good majority of people just doing their own thing. If you're not breeding to the breed standard, then if you're not breeding to what the ABKC or the UKC or whatever standard you're working with, whatever registry you're working with, if you're not breeding to that, you're breeding outside of it, then I don't know. You're doing it to get paid. You're doing it to be exotic. You're doing it for any reason that's got nothing to do with breeding, because that's what the standard is set for. So those are my thoughts, man. Me personally, for example, the furless bully, I know that there's a market for them. Great for them. I'm not picking on them. But as for me, like, whether it's a hairless bully or what do they call them other ones, fluffies, they're outside of the breed standard. Why are you doing that? I know why they're doing that, but it's got nothing to do with breeding. And, somebody asked earlier about breeding and popularity. Popularity has nothing to do with breeding. You could be the most unpopular person out here. I've seen breeders that have produced their entire yard, they're grand champions. They can't sell their dogs over $1,500. Does that mean that they're bad breeders? No, it means they suck at social media. That's what that means. And then you have some other Joe Blow, doesn't know anything about breeding, pays a model, whatever, or his wife, tells his wife to put a G-string on, show her booty next to the dog, and all of a sudden, people are flocking in that direction. Does that mean he knows how to breed? Absolutely not, right? It just means, he knows how to attract eyes to his product. That's it. So, again, man, there's people out here that are going to produce things that are outside of the standard. They know how to get the eyeballs on there so they can make a buck. To me, that's where their true intention lies, and it's not in breeding, if that means anything to you. Julio Santiago says, when you feed oatmeal to your dogs, is it cooked or raw? It could be either. I would prefer cooked. I'm gonna tell you this. I prefer it cooked because when you cook it, it absorbs water. If you notice, when you feed kibble, your dogs poop a lot, right? The reason your dogs poop a lot is because they're eating the stuff that is very dry. And what that does is it starts pulling moisture or water, better yet, in the dog's intestine from the dog's body. And that creates bulk, which makes your dogs, poop these large amounts. Whereas when you feed raw, all of a sudden you notice the dog's poop shrivels up to a quarter or maybe even less of what they were pooping before, but they're definitely peeing a lot more, right? And that's because the raw diet, 70% of it is water, right? So those are the two things. So I just wanted to bring that up because if I'm feeding kibble, you might want to help the dog's digestion out a little bit and give it cooked oatmeal. It only takes you 5 minutes to cook it, right? Maybe even less if you have a microwave. And the same could be true if you're feeding raw. If you're feeding raw and 70% of the food is already water, why would you want to feed it dry? The only times I have used dry is when I've made, say, for example, satin balls and that sort of thing. And what happens is when you're mixing that ground beef with the dry oatmeal, that oatmeal, believe it or not, soaking up some of that water. So that's just my thought process behind it, man. Hector Candelario, who gets those memberships people gift? YouTube randomly gives it to people that are on here. I want to say those that are mostly interactive are the ones that are going to get it, but I have no control over that. I wish I did. Because I would definitely be very picky as to who I would be giving it to, but YouTube just gives it to whomever they see interacting the most. Marisol Timmons says a true breeder loves their dogs like their family. I agree. I totally agree. I see 64, says Adam Fields. All right. G-Line, what up, what up, what up? What up, G-Line? Number love. Jeremiah says Raul is about to fix them feet H-frame with Hector's breed type. Yeah, that's about right. That's what we're shooting for, man. WT Kennel says, love watching you and the work you do, especially for the community. I tell everyone, watch you to learn, also to keep up with stuff in the community. WTE, man, I appreciate the support, man. Thank you for stopping by. G-Line says, I call those abomination breedings. Yeah, like, you breed a dog with 5 legs. And what's crazy is in the market, what's crazy is also how it's marketed. And, I could see somebody breeding a dog with 5 legs, 5 workable legs, saying something like, hey, the dog gets more traction. And in reality, that's true, but it's such a stupid marketing ploy in my eyes. And then there's going to be somebody out there that's going to nod and go with it because it's exotic, and that's unfortunately, and the American Bully breed, especially because they're so muscular and whatnot, our breed is looked at as an accessory, like glasses, like a purse, like whatever. It gives you a little bit more status. I get it. Javier Noriega, Corso breeder here, and been following you for a while during my work shift. Blessings to Felipe for gifting a membership. Very unexpected. Javier Noriega, welcome on board, man. Ask away. Take full advantage of this membership. And hopefully in the future, you can become a full-fledged member, and maybe you can pay it forward, man. Number love, man. Van Gonta House, my guy, Alexander Van Gonta. This guy right here is one of the smartest people I've come across in the breeding community. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, I suggest you do so. I've made videos with him in the past. He also comes up in some of my playlists. But this guy is super cool, man. Nothing but love for him. Breeding outside the breed standard is the money-hungry people. Yeah, I can't disagree with you, Alex. You're absolutely right. It's about, unfortunately, society has become a place where, like I said, especially with our breed, it's an accessory breed, right? Because my breed is not a breed like yours, Alex. You breed German Shepherds, and you have the slips my mind that training you guys do with your dogs and that competition you do. It'll come to me as soon as I get off the live. I'll remember, but I can't remember this moment. I know you're screaming at the monitor right now and at the camera or whatnot, and it doesn't come through. But either way, because our breed is a companion breed and they're muscled up, then people that unfortunately have some shortcomings a lot of times use the dog to make, as an accessory to make up for their shortcomings. Much like a 50-year-old man out of nowhere buys this brand new, red Lamborghini or Ferrari, whatever he could afford, right? That sort of thing. So it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. And then you got unethical breeders that know this, and so that's what they prey on. One of a kind just got off. Hope everyone has had a great day. Nothing but love, man. Thanks for joining us. Hey, shout out to my guy over here too, NWA Cane Corsos and All Dog Breed Podcast. Dang, the whole crew here tonight. This dude right here, nothing but love, man. Joe Church. If you haven't checked out the interview he did with me, make sure to check it out. Make sure you check out the interview he did with my dude Alexander Van Gonta House over here as well. And he's always putting out good information, asking good questions. What I like about this guy is he doesn't come out here and fakes the funk like he knows everything. He doesn't. In fact, he'll ask me, he'll ask Alex and other people that breed so that he can get that information, which I think is great. But it's unfortunate that sometimes you have people that'll set up a platform and they'll try and fake the funk. And next thing you know, they got all these followers there, and you're just shaking your head because you hear them talk, and you're like, wow, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. A lot of times you'll see, a sheep act like a wolf, and then the sheep start, following it. It's just amazing sometimes. Felipe Hernandez Rondon, nothing but love, man. Nothing but love. Thank you for the gifting of those memberships. Insuralta says, the one with the girl in the bikini next to the dog is same doing the hairless. Oh yeah. In this community, and I hate to say it, but I've seen so many dudes prostitute their wives through pictures. I mean, I guess prostitute would be too strong of a word. Show off their wives to the community in order to gain a following, which to me, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm old school, but it's damn near prostituting, man. It just is what it is. Malachi says, did you notice a slight come down of energy when first transitioning to raw? My boy has become more mellow this week, not groggy or anything, just more chill. Well, there's something to it. And Alex, Van Gonta, if you're watching and you want to comment on this, please do. I was told by a trainer, right, that when dogs come into their compound, if you want to call it that, and they're boarded with them so that they could be trained on whatever type of training they're going to do, that they tell the breeders or the people bringing the dogs to them that they're going to be fed a particular food while they're on their compound, right? And one of the things that I was told is corn is one of the things that they make sure is not in whatever it is that they're going to be feeding the dogs, excuse me, because corn becomes sugar instantly in the blood, in the dog's blood. You got to realize dogs are not human beings. And even though domesticated dogs have a bigger pancreas than, say, wolves do, don't go, feeding a dog a bag of flour, which that's normally what you get when you're buying kibble. But bottom line is, more likely than not, that's probably why you're seeing a difference in behavior, because the dog's body now is not having all this sugar or extra energy that, first of all, it has to deal with. And second of all, once it does deal with it, there's a reason why they're carnivores and they're not herbivores. They're not meant to have those high levels of sugar. In fact, their energy source should mainly be coming from fat. And that's what happens when you go raw. Adam Rochester, question for everyone. One of my dogs just can't seem to gain any weight. I've tried almost everything. Gorilla Milk, Satin Balls, Green Monster. I have two brothers, and they are 10 kilograms difference. Adam Rochester, sometimes it's genetics. You ever watch the movie Twins? Yeah, I know Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger, they exaggerated in that. But I will tell you, I have seen in, say, a 10-pup litter, I have seen a pup come out pretty feeble, which those are the true runts, by the way. Sometimes it's genetic, man. Sometimes it is. This is why it's so important that the female is line bred that you're about to use, right? And the reason you want that is because when it comes to the breeding, she's bringing two X's. That's where she's pulling from. So if she came from an outcross, she's going to be pulling from a lot of different areas, and that's going to cause a lot of variance as far as, the dog's weight, the dog's build. You may have some pups that are going to have, or dogs that are going to have more athletic builds versus some others that may have more of a muscular build. So that's where line breeding really, really, really plays a big role. You got to remember the male is only going to be pulling from one X, right? Because his Y is just to determine sex in the litter. But that female is coming with two X's. So that's why it's so key that if you could have a female that is line bred and she's clean and correct, that's breeding gold right there. Dave Klein, always great information. You got it, man. Number love. Appreciate you. Squeaky Clean. Hey, Raul, how often do you feed your dogs garlic? Every day. Every day. Ricky Carter, do you feed your females raw when they are pregnant? Listen, Ricky, I tried it on purpose because I realized, okay, let me rewind. For the longest time, and even today, I insist that I don't want to feed my females raw. I'm going to explain to you why. Now, in order to be able to stand here and give you a good response, I felt I had to go through an entire pregnancy feeding one of my females raw. And I did, and nothing ever happened. In fact, puppies were nice and healthy, and so was she, right? But what I stand on is not as to what happened in that one breeding, because my sample size is so small and limited. My view is that when you feed raw, you're feeding a load of parasites to a dog. This is why you must deworm every 30 days if you're feeding raw. But it doesn't only stop there, right? The possibility exists that you may be feeding also an extra load of bacteria, right? And amoeba, right? Ever heard of coccidosis? Yeah, I don't want my pregnant bitch getting any of that, right? Is it possible? Yes, it's possible that it could happen. Is it likely? Probably not likely, but it's possible, right? Here's the thing. Dogs have the crazy ability to absorb puppies in vitro whenever they get infected or they're stressed or they come upon a situation that even environmental can cause your female to absorb. And so that's the main reason why I don't want to feed raw. That's the only time I say, no, we're going to go with cooked food rather than raw. I'm not even saying kibble. I'm saying we're going to go with cooked food because I don't want her getting that extra load, right? So that's my whole spiel on that, man. D. Taylor says, it's interesting that accessory defects make it exotic, meaning the fact that the hairless dogs who can't be in the sun long sell for 100,000, breed for health, love your animal. Yeah, it's that, if you really watch breeders and how they move, including me, I mean, I'm a breeder, right? If you watch breeders, I've always said, look at breeders, look at their facilities, right? Everything I'm about to tell you is just to give you a glimpse at what their true intentions are, right? You need to look at their facilities. Facilities don't have to be, oh, each dog has their own room, air conditioning, and TV. That'd be great if they had that, but no, that's not necessary. Number one, it must be clean. Number two, it must be adequate, right? And as that breeder sells litters, you must see that facility improve, right? That facility must improve, right? This is what's giving you information as to what that breeder is truly about, right? You see a breeder come onto the scene, they know nothing about breeding, and they're already talking about, furless this and furry that, and, BMW this and Lamborghini that. They're pretty much telling you what they're in it for, right? And it's really sad when you see people actually I don't want to say paying, because they do whatever they want with their money, but I don't like to see people being prized for doing something the wrong way, right? It's almost like they're going against breed standard, and somebody drops 100K on them, so they are actually getting not just prized for doing that, but they're almost getting that vote of confidence to keep doing it, right? It is what it is, man. Human nature, I guess. Marcus, at what age do you start feeding an XL pup to bulk up some without hurting the joints and growth? Marcus, you're going to have to watch a lot of my videos, my friend. I've spoken on that since I've been blue in the face. Jeremiah, I have a 14-year-old pitty. He can barely hold himself up while he eats. What are some questions you ask yourself so you can determine when to put the dog down? That's a real tough one, bro. My girl Azu, hope I don't get emotional on this. My girl Azu, she was already 9 when I put her down. The reason I put her down is because she got mammary cancer, or dog breast cancer, believe it or not. She started bleeding, and I took her in. They removed some tumors and whatnot, but she wouldn't stop bleeding, right? And they told me that's part of the process. That's part of the thing. So I was feeding her natural things that were trying to counter the bleeding, like dark green leafy vegetables. I would make my own, blueberries, all these antioxidants. What I would do is I'd make a shake, right? A water shake. It wouldn't be milk. And then I put those in the little cube trays, and then I would freeze them. And then what I would do is whenever I would feed her, I would also add these cubes. She would eat them. She loved them. The day I realized I had to put her down is she kept bleeding. Once I gave her the concoctions I would give her, it kind of reduced a little bit for a good 2 or 3 months, but then it kind of became a bit profused. One morning I let her out and she tried to poop, and I could tell she was just having a hard time just being able to kind of, you know, squat and do the poop thing they do. And I realized at that moment that it was time. So I don't know, man. That's a real tough question. Definitely the dog stops eating, you know. But once I saw her having a hard time doing something as basic as her necessity, you know, to alleviate or relieve herself, I realized, yeah, that was the moment to put her down. I've had him since he was 8 weeks. Jeremiah. You know, what I did do before I put her down was, you know, I took her to McDonald's, bought 20-piece chicken nuggets, let her go to town on that. That's what she liked. We wouldn't always give her chicken nuggets, but what I normally did is I would drive through a McDonald's and I'll probably order a 20-piece and then give one dog one chicken nugget or whatever. She used to love that. So we did that. Gave her chicken nuggets, bought her also a steak, let her go down with that. And, you know, then we put her down. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jeremiah. Life of Miklo, do you or have you used X-Dog vest with your dogs to build muscle? I have. I have a video on that. Again, you can actually go on here, and if you go to my homepage and you could put exercise, I believe it'll come up on exercise. Yeah, there it is. Muscle up. And look, there's my boy Power. May he rest in peace, with an X-Dog vest. It's really that simple, guys. Go to our homepage. Go to search, type in what you're looking for. You're going to find whatever you want. Jeremiah, when the growth plate closes at 18 months or more, Marcus. Jeremiah, I don't know, man. Let him look at some videos, because I've spoken after that. I think 18 months at this point may be a little too soon. Sorry to hear you here, Jeremiah. Absolutely, man. Nobody ever wants to hear that kind of stuff. Javier Noriega, NWA, another great channel and friend. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, listen, guys, it's Friday. We're about to hit the 2-hour mark. I wasn't expecting we're going to be talking for 2 hours. Really appreciate you guys stopping by, giving us some love. Appreciate a like, a share, a comment. Definitely on Monday, you know, we got tough questions with Money Mike. We also have my dude, Jafon's Journey. I really like this kid. He's a new breeder, and he's from Brooklyn, New York. He's going to be coming at me with his, you know, perspective and questions from a new breeder. And then, like always, tough topics with Money Mike. Make sure to tune in on Monday. Also, guys, I've already told you we dropped the video on barf diet. Look, man, I'm not saying this to say it. I'm saying it because I mean it. This video we just dropped, which is, I feel it's kind of like raw diet 101, if you will. If you haven't watched it, I suggest you check it out this weekend. You're going to see my boy Blueberry on the thumbnail. Here, let me bring it up so you can see it. It really breaks down raw diet. Not only that, it breaks down the basics as to, does your dog truly have a chicken allergy, and how to use the process of elimination to get to the bottom of things. And again, this video is going to be the basis of a series of videos of recipes that I'm going to be making for different types of allergies, kind of like the yeast detox allergy, along with other type of recipes that we're going to be throwing up on there. D. Taylor's asking about the stack off. D. Taylor, you're absolutely right. On Monday, we have the stack off. My apologies. We're going to have the stack off. I'm actually going to have Kyle send me over. He made a video showing you guys the instructions for the stack off. So we'll be doing that on Monday. Magnanimous bullies. I did some research into why my piebald bully tested SS, and I believe it's a combination of her saddle tan modifier and intensity locus then caused her to have cream spots. Thank you, Magnanimous. You actually did the homework for me and for yourself, but thank you for sharing the information. Gives me a lot of info. Quality of life comes down to their quality of life. She's talking about when having to put a dog down. Jeremiah, man, I know it's a tough, you're in a tough situation, bro. If you need to reach out to me for whatever else, you already know. All you got to do is text me. Sally Adams says, thank you, Raul. You always make us smarter. Our critters, thank you for this. Nothing but love. Appreciate you guys. And look, I'm just going to show you this little boy right here. He's just looking amazing. My boy, Blueberry, in that barf diet video at the end, he's eating. He's just looking great. Either way, guys, I want to thank you for joining us. Been Raul from the Q. I'll be catching you on the next one.
American Bully, that's the dream. From XL booties to extreme. Pocket stamina,